Hey, it's Kevin. Thank you so much for stopping by for the No BS social media chat. As I encounter people time and time again, they continue to talk about struggling with, dealing with the amount of social media networks, dealing with the amount of time it takes. I saw a thing online the other day where people spend on average 109 minutes a day now online doing social media, and that's just people consuming it. Now imagine if you're doing this to advance yourself, building your personal brand and things like that. Well, you know what it's like because you're trying to do that just as I am. Now a couple of weeks ago, I was attending a conference that was a musician conference. It was actually for independent music artists, if you will, and just passing along some good information. It had nothing to do necessarily with social media, and it was more musicians, it was more artists than it was marketing people like me. But I had a chance to spend some time, chatting with some musicians, getting an idea of what's going on in their world. Hey, if I could pick up a new client, great, which I didn't. It wasn't no big deal. But I learned some things. But there was one point in the discussions, in just a discussion, I don't even remember what it was about. What it was about, just how to grow your career as an independent artist, where the guy on stage who was the host of the event, who was kind of the MC of the event, who's both an actor and an artist based out of LA, I don't even remember his name, he didn't make that big a difference to me, said something about that he takes an approach to social media that just kind of like rang true to me. It kind of rang out and went, ooh, this is something I've got to explore. And he called the approach, and I've never heard anybody talk about this before, the pyramid approach. And he said, look at a pyramid. He goes, there are a lot of social media networks, he says, but find whatever you like the most. Find which one it is, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, don't care, YouTube, whatever it is, and focus the majority of your effort and time on that. Because if you're enjoying it, if you're having a good time with it, it's going to show and you're going to be able to build a following. And I thought, that's interesting. I understand that. I mean, I spend more time personally on Instagram. I run 5 personal Instagram accounts for my different personalities, for my different themes, just because I found that one wasn't getting the traction I'd hoped for. And when I started splitting it up into multiple channels, I attracted people who were just looking for certain things. I'm a big fan of neon signs and taking pictures of neon signs. So on one of my channels, almost all I ever post are neon signs. And the engagement level is consistent and is high and continues to grow. And that page literally has a couple thousand followers. And then when I started taking pictures of what they call ghost signs, of old painted signs on brick walls that have been there, for 50, 80, 100 years. Some people are interested in that, but when I then pushed it on its own page, I now have a page that's got 700, 800 followers, and no matter what I post, no matter what time of day, 50, 60, 70, 80 people liking it and really getting into it, I found an audience. But yet when I post things about music business and my clients and things, that nobody was posting on it because they weren't interested. So if you really segment your audience, you find it works. Well, I had to do a lot of experimentation. So what does that mean? I spend more time on Instagram, and it works. And I think he's right. I mean, we can't be all things to all people. If you go back to some of our early videos, sure, it was easy when it was just MySpace and everybody spent all their time on MySpace. And then Facebook came about, and then we added Twitter and YouTube and now Instagram. And, we're not even talking your Snapchats and your Vines and heck, even the newer sites like Ello and Peach. Where do you find the time? And the answer is you don't. You figure I'm on all these sites, and I don't ever create any Vines. I don't ever spend much time on Snapchat. It just doesn't work for me. It's not something I'm interested in. I work on them because I know my clients need to understand them, and some have a propensity to them. I've got friends who are big, huge Vine stars, and that's great, and I understand what they're doing. I understand the theory behind it, but again, they're spending more time on Vine, so they're getting better results. So if you're still struggling with how to approach social media, sure, we talk about the big 4. I always suggest if you're going to focus on 4, if you're going to spend time on anything, you spend it on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and on YouTube. Those are my 4 for what we're doing, I think, especially when I'm talking to my music clients and my media clients and even small businesses. Again, I've talked about my friend the jeweler in town who has done a great job with small little videos of him repairing jewelry. He's found that YouTube works for him. He may share it to Facebook, he may share it to Twitter, but YouTube is his way of sharing that message. And man, when you see a video and you see it happen, nothing speaks louder. So take the pyramid approach. Maybe that's going to work for you, and focus on whether it's Facebook or focus on Twitter or focus on whatever works for you, whatever gets you the most bang for your buck, and more importantly, whatever you enjoy spending time on the most. If you spend more time on that disproportionately to the others, still you can spend some time on Twitter, you can spend some time on Facebook, whatever it is, make sure to feed those beasts, if you will. Your social media engagement may improve. I like this pyramid approach. Something to think about. Think about next week coming by for another No BS social media chat. All videos always online, nobssocial.com. They're also on our YouTube channel, No BS Social there on YouTube. And as well, we put them on our Intensity Media Facebook page. We don't always, we kind of do those towards the end of the week to kind of do a fresh reminder, but stop on by anytime, check out a video, and think about it. Think about that pyramid approach. See you next week. If you'd like to reach out to me, real simple, email, phone number, coming up next. Thanks so much and see you next week.